Hello and welcome to Health Talk. I'm Anna Koyman in for Dr. Manny. It's time to pick out those dresses, get those tuxedos, and prepare for the prom. And while teenagers are thinking of a night of dancing and partying, parents know this could be a night filled with potential dangers, both for your child's safety and reputation. Parenting expert and author Erica Katz is here today with some tips every parent should share with their kids before the big night. Thank you so much for joining us here on Health Talk.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Erica, first let's talk about some of the dangers regarding prom.
Well, a lot of times girls have a lot of anxiety about the prom. Who's going to ask them? Are they going to look thin in their dress? Are they going to be tan enough? And I think that's a real problem because leading up to prom, they might do things that are dangerous. They might crash diet. They might take diet pills. They might go to tanning beds. So it's really something that parents have to watch for. So if you see any change in your teen, it's something you need to address and talk to her about, and also give her alternatives. So if she really wants to be tan, instead of those tanning beds, which I really feel are very dangerous for kids, maybe do a spray tan. You can get a bunch of products online or at your local drugstore that can make you look tan. Practice it ahead of time, and that'll kind of address the tanning problem. As far as the weight, you're not going to lose 50 pounds in 3 weeks. You're just not. So you have to love the body that you have and try to find a great dress that really flatters your figure.
And really, prom is kind of a coming of age for girls and boys, but females in particular. And sometimes moms may think that the kids don't want to hear from them, but it's actually a comforting feeling for a teenager to hear from their mother.
Well, you know, there's been studies done that the most influential person on a child is actually their parents. While we think it's their friend, it's really the parent. So you might think your child is tuning out, and believe me, I have 2 kids. I always think they're tuning out. But you know what? When it comes to the end of the day, they heard what I said, and it stays in their mind. So feel free to talk to your kids ahead of time who they're going with. Is this a boyfriend? Is this just a friend? Do you think they're going to have sex with this person? Are they anticipating maybe this is the night to lose their virginity? And if you feel that's inappropriate, tell them that's inappropriate.
Right.
Say, look, this doesn't have to be that night. This night is just a night to have fun and dance and be with your friends. Don't put so much pressure on yourself because it's just one night.
You know, there are all sorts of pressures associated with the financial obligations that the boys have for the girls, and then the girls sometimes feel obligated to maybe push the envelope and do a little bit more than they're even comfortable with. How do you talk to them about that?
Well, I think this is where their self-esteem really comes into play, and you have to build their self-esteem. And you say, look, you are there to have a good time. If he wants to pay for something, great. If you want to pay for something, great. But you don't owe him anything, and he doesn't owe you anything. So you can't think because he pays for your ticket or he bought you a corsage that then you have to sleep with him. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Right. Girls typically feel the pressure to have the perfect dress and be the perfect size and all that. But guys sometimes feel pressure from their friends. They're high-fiving each other. You know, how far did you get to go with her? You know, that behavior is not acceptable either.
It's not, and you know, sometimes that comes from the parents. If they hear parents talking like that, like the dad should not come over to son and be like, come on, son, and make it sound like it's a great thing. You just have to be neutral as a parent and say, look, if you're going with your girlfriend and you really love her, or you're going with your boyfriend, you really love him, you can even ask them, are you going to have sex? And if you think they are, you have to make sure they have protection with them.
Okay.
And if you really don't feel that they should be having sex, you should make that clear as well.
And there are certainly emotional consequences that go along with it, not just the physical repercussions. You know, you could get an STD or you could get pregnant. I mean, mentally, this can be tough on kids.
Well, I think the most disturbing thing that could happen is a girl could be at a prom and she sleeps with just anyone because she feels it's her prom night and she has to do this. And then the next day she feels really bad about herself. And that definitely has psychological implications. And then if she worries about pregnancy or STD, it further complicates it. So I think it's really important to discuss it ahead of time. And if you have a daughter, say, look, you don't have to have sex. It is not, that's not what prom is about. Prom is about the last kind of hurrah with your friends and having a great time.
And a lot of times social media can really get kids into trouble, and pictures are going to be snapped all over the place this night.
Well, that's another thing. Everybody has a camera on their phone. So you could be doing something and not realize somebody's taping you, and then you can end up on the internet the next day doing something very embarrassing. So you need to be aware of what you're doing. And I really tell girls and boys to be careful not to get super drunk. First of all, it's illegal. And second of all, when you're drunk, you engage in behavior that might be embarrassing to you. And those things, when they get on YouTube, they're on there forever.
Right.
And
yep.
You don't want that coming back to haunt you.
And parents can be held responsible as well. You need to make sure you aren't trying to be the cool parent and let the kids do something illegal.
Nothing annoys me more than the cool parent, okay? There's nothing cool about serving alcohol to underage kids. I've heard many parents, including people I know very well, say to me, well, if it's in my home, it's okay, I can control it, I know what they're doing. The truth is, if one of them gets alcohol poisoning, one of them leaves your house, something happens, the police are going to come after you, and it's not worth it.
And let's talk a little bit about the future for these kids. Many of them are thinking about trying to get into college, or maybe they've already been let in for early admission or something like that, but something on their criminal record could really harm them.
Well, we are in the midst of senioritis with the prom. So these kids think they're invincible and they've gotten into college and nothing can happen. But the truth is, if you engage in criminal behavior, you could get expelled from high school, not get your diploma, and the college could take away their acceptance or their scholarship. So one thing I think kids don't realize, if you go to a hotel for an after prom and there's drugs and alcohol present, a lot of people think if they're not doing the drugs or they're not drinking the alcohol, nothing can happen. However, if the police were to come in, they're going to arrest everybody because they don't know who's doing what.
Right.
So I would suggest to parents to tell your children, if they are in a place and there are drugs and alcohol, to call mom. Say, I will come pick you up anywhere. Don't be shy. You can say to me, oh, hi, I'm just calling, I have a headache, have a code word, a phrase, anything like that, because you don't want to be in a situation where you could be arrested.
Erica, where can we find out more information about you?
Well, you can get my book, Bonding Over Beauty, or go to my website, bondingoverbeauty.com, and I have some great dresses you can find for under $100.
Oh, boy.
I have makeup and hair tips for prom, because prom should be fun, and it should not break the bank.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here on
Thank
Health
you.
Talk today, Erica. And if you happen to have a health question, you can email them to Dr. Manny at foxnews.com. Thanks for watching. For Fox News, I'm Anna Coyman.